The new segment for us is Enterprise Software 3.0. If you think about, this is a trend that we spotted early, that we have, that we've spent a lot of time focusing on this today, which is, and it's one that's still nascent, it's still early. Not everybody's focused on this. If you see most of the venture capital firms, they're still focused on B2C and getting in the next Twitter and Foursquare and Facebook. Well, certainly we'll look at those as well. But we actually see the huge and next big trend emerging is actually going to be in the enterprise. And the concept is, if you think about Gen 1 of the enterprise, it was mainframe type computers. Gen 2, we moved to the PC, the client-server initiative. Gen 3 was we started moving to the internet, and so you started to see more internet applications like a Salesforce.com. And now you're seeing what we're calling Enterprise 3.0, which is this idea that applications are now moving out of the data center, moving into a cloud environment. And Amazon.com is really leading this initiative by putting infrastructure out there for people to build applications in the cloud. The second thing that's happening is the mobile devices have proliferated, the smart devices have proliferated, where you're starting to see adoption in the enterprises of mobile applications. And so that's very new, and it's different from the way applications have been built in the past. So you have a whole disruption layer that's going to help build a whole new set of companies. So that's a second layer. The third thing is you think about the social aspects. So Facebook and Twitter, great concepts on the consumer side, but the reality is the businesses are starting to use these concepts as well. And the best example there is LinkedIn. So you're starting to use LinkedIn for professional purposes and HR recruiting purposes. But we're starting to see the same concepts applied to a number of other initiatives in the business space. So our belief is that the enterprise is going to be the next big opportunity in technology. But just to talk about some trends and why we're excited about these areas. On the internet, there's no question the big trend is taking the media spend and moving it offline to online. There's $500 billion worth of media spend globally. Only 20% of that today is online. And online is really the only place you can actually measure the return on your campaigns. And so there's still a huge amount of opportunity. You'll see a couple of our companies today that are taking advantage of that move from offline to online spend. On the fintech space, the big trend that's happening, and you guys all know this because you're in the financial community, is all the new regulatory requirements that have come down in the last 3 to 4 years. And those regulatory requirements provide a great opportunity for new technology providers to come in, aggregate certain types of data, aggregate workflows as well, and be able to provide that oversight and transparency that hasn't been in some segments of the market. So we're really spending a lot of our time helping facilitate this next generation of regulatory requirements. For better or for worse in the market, it's great opportunities for us on the technology side. Healthcare IT, there's no question the healthcare reform is a big driver. The biggest driver there is the adoption of the electronic medical records. Because with those medical records, you're basically providing the foundation of data, which you can then use that data to help provide, with technology and data aggregation, the collaboration of the different participants in the value chain of healthcare to try to do what we haven't been able to do to date, which is to reduce the cost of healthcare. You can only do that by leveraging the data. You can't get to the data without the medical records, and now that's just starting to happen.